This is very bad news for the Houston Rockets as we have some major updates on Tari Eason, as it looks like he will spend a significant amount of time injured and not able to play with the Rockets. We'll get to the latest news and information on this injury right here, right now on Rockets Digest. Welcome everybody, I'm Jace Andrews. Appreciate you hanging out with me and tuning in to today's show. Wish I had some better news for you, I honestly do, but unfortunately, that is not the case today. But when breaking news happens, when stuff like this drops, we always get out a video, so make sure you hit that subscribe button for daily coverage of the Houston Rockets throughout the 2025 NBA season. The Houston Rockets have been fantastic since their 0-2 start with just the one loss to San Antonio, and that was an 11-point loss on the road. Tough game, NBA Cup night, obviously a lot going on with that. You're facing Victor Wembanyama. You now have a better record than the Spurs. You've played some mediocre teams the past two games, but you've beat them in the way you should beat them. 140-16 against Portland, 135-112 against Washington. But in that time, you have developed a lot of very good traits. In fact, you have an 8-1 record with a 127.2 points per game ratio, and Houston with that has the number one offense in the NBA. A lot of that is attributed to Kevin Durant, Alperen Şengün, Amen Thompson, and in matter of fact, Reed Sheppard and what he has been able to do since kind of getting into a more comfortable feel of the game. But a part of that has also been of the starting five, Josh Okogie and Tari Eason. And now with Tari, it seems like we may be without him for a decent amount of time. We got the report today talking about Tari Eason, and it's not a good one. Michael Scotto is saying, quote, Houston Rockets forward Tari Eason has a strained oblique and will miss 4 to 6 weeks, Coach Ime Udoka told reporters after practice. Eason, who will be a 2026 restricted free agent, is averaging 11.5 points on a career-high 49.5% from the field and a 50.9% from three-point range in the 11 games he's appeared in thus far. This is a ginormous blow to the Houston Rockets. Tari has been an effective rotational player, a starter at times, and just a huge piece of this team. Again, 23.2 minutes per game ranks him in the top 6 for the Houston Rockets. Him, Okogie, and Reed Sheppard, to me, are kind of that fifth/sixth-man combo. I don't want to label any of them as the fifth, but I also don't want to label any of them the sixth, though I'm going to call them 5/6s, and they're all going to be very pivotal parts, or at least they all were. And now Tari Eason here with that great field goal percentage, with that great three-point percentage, will have to sit on the bench for probably 4 to 6 weeks, which is unfortunately nothing new for Tari Eason. He's been a little bit of an injury-prone guy for his first couple seasons in the NBA. Obviously played all 82 back in 2022-2023, but since then, just 22 games in 23-24, 57 games last year, and now 11 games into his season here in 2025-26. We're going to have to see him sit for, the next 20 games or so, probably even more than that. We'll have to kind of look and really get a diagnostic as to how long this injury is actually going to take him out. We have to look forward, though, kind of talking about who could take his place, what the Rockets' plan is, and kind of all the things. Well, in that, we do have to kind of look at the Houston Rockets roster, and of course you see Tari Eason being there with, in terms of points per game, the 6th most on the Rockets, just behind Reed Sheppard. And until past couple nights, he was ahead of Reed Sheppard, but Reed has been playing fantastic basketball. We're going to have a video on him later on talking about what he has been able to transform into. But in terms of guys who could take his spot, you could go small, play Josh Okogie, Aaron Holiday. Jae'Sean Tate is also an option, and that's kind of where we go to Brett O's tweet, kind of talking about how he was having a great season. But you know the second part of it saying, assuming Jae'Sean Tate and Aaron Holiday will fill in for the meantime, depending on the matchup. Jae'Sean being the forward, Aaron Holiday being the guard, so it really just depends. Do you want to go big? Do you want to go small? But as the final point he makes is probably the most important one. We need Dorian Finney-Smith back now. You sign him this offseason. You got him on a 4-year contract, only 2 years of guaranteed money. Right now is where his importance would be shown tenfold. And unfortunately, there is nothing to be heard about him. Legit, when you look up updates on Dorian Finney-Smith, all you get is crickets. Like, it's crazy. I don't get it. I don't know what is happening with him. We saw him work out at the start of the season back in early October. There hasn't really been much update. I'm kind of curious to this point of when he will return, because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're seeing something I'm not, but I've looked up everything. I'm in tenfold on Rockets Twitter, and the only thing that I've seen is hopefully he can return soon. Look, he was shooting today. Hopefully he can return soon. We need him back. And I understand, we do not want to rush him back from injury. This team has higher aspirations than winning regular season games, and with the record they've had over the past 9 games, you don't necessarily need him. But now without Tari Eason, you kind of do. And especially depending on how you feel about Jason Tate and Aaron Holiday, because I do think it'll be intriguing. Jason, for as he kind of feels like he should be 40 years old, but somehow he's only 30. Kind of wild to me. But either way, 1.1 points per game. He's not very active. His field goal percentage is not great either, but he's going to be asked to play substantial minutes at times. And Aaron Holiday, same can be said for him. This is going to be something that is a rotational depth piece now for the Houston Rockets. And what sucks is that you finally felt like you were like finding your footing. Reed Sheppard had come into his own. You finally had like a solid top tier point guard with Reed Sheppard and Amen Thompson kind of going with that 1-2. You feel like you had the rotational depth there, making sure that nobody was going to get injured with the forwards. Now you lose another forward in theory because, I mean, you never lost Dorian Finney-Smith because you really haven't had him yet this season. And so the question becomes for Ime Udoka and the Houston Rockets, do you trust Jason Tate? Do you trust Aaron Holiday? I don't really know. I mean, thus far this season, Holiday's played in 7.2 minutes per game with a 3.8 points per game average. His field goal percentage is pretty good, but again, that's in very limited time. I think in some aspects, I like what I've seen from Aaron Holiday. It's obviously been a lot in garbage time and kind of just running out clocks, but still, he's played in the aspects we've wanted him to play in. I'm curious to me, like, we talk so much about starters and what the Rockets can look for in their starters, and I really do think that at the end of the year, if this injury hadn't happened, we'd probably be talking about Tari Eason as the guy with the 5th most starts, because we know that Amen, Alperen, KD, and Jabari are going to start basically every game, and that 5th starter is going to rotate between, if you need a double big, you can go Steven Adams. If you want to go with a forward-heavy roster, you go with, obviously, Tari Eason, and then you can also, if you want an extra guard, you can put in Reed Sheppard in that aspect. Josh Okogie. Also, if you want some defensive presence as guard, you can put him in there too. So kind of 4 guys in some ways you've been rotating. I think more recently it's been Okogie and Eason getting those starting positions. Reed Sheppard has run in there and taken over for Okogie in a lot of situations. Now you don't have that option of Tari Eason. I think now is the point where you probably see the start of Reed Sheppard, where he's going to start starting. He's going to start a decent amount of games. Josh Okogie and Steven Adams are going to be playing, I think, more minutes, especially for Steven, because you're probably going to want that double big. And I think in some aspect you're going to ask Alperen Şengün. I think he already kind of does that, but as a center, play more of a forward type role, which you can expect him to do. His field goal percentage is good. 3-point percentage is better than what we could have expected. So overall, this is a horrible injury. It's a horrible time for this to happen. If Dorian Finney-Smith was back, if he was playing, I think I'd feel way different about this injury. I feel a lot more comfortable with this team, a lot more comfortable with what I can expect from this team. But ultimately, you don't have that. And so right now, I look at this team and say, okay, we need some guys to continuously step up. And we asked that, okay, Reed Sheppard, you step up. And he did. And now we have an injury. It's like, okay, well, now we got to ask somebody else. It's kind of in a rotating pool. They keep winning, though. That's ultimately what matters. And if they can keep doing that, then not. Put my hands up and shut up. We got a game tomorrow. Play well. Win that game. Obviously, it's going to be a tough matchup. 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock tip. So a little Sunday night action. I believe against the Magic. But either way, very good team. Injuries and unfortunate situations have continued to rattle their ship, but they're staying steady. Best offense in the league. Keep that up, and the rest will follow suit, especially with your rebounding presences. That's what I got for you here today on a Rockets Digest, everybody. I appreciate you watching. Wish I had better news for you. We'll keep you updated, though, on everything you need to know. For now, though, we appreciate it, and we'll see you next time here on Rockets Digest. Peace out, guys.